Better We podcast, I think of strangers who magically become friends, live, on camera, and off camera.
For a community of friends, like-minded people who are open and here to share ideas about how we can be better as a people as a whole.
And give a safe place for
if anybody is looking for a podcast, I love it. It's inspirational, it's ingenious, and it unifies us as a whole, as people. Better me equals a better we.
A better me equals a better we.
All right, guys, welcome back to another episode of the A Better Me Equals a Better We podcast. I am your host, Trey. Like I always say, super excited to be back with you guys and just talk about a bunch of different topics that I believe is really going to help take our community, take all of our lives to the next level. So this week, we actually had another episode that was planned for this week. We were going to do segregation versus integration. Just talk about the school system a little bit, how even with the school system, we've been redlined and things of that sort. But because of the last week's episode and just how good it was and the response, we decided to do a part 2 of that episode today. So we're doing co-parenting part 2. And I got Jonathan here with me. If you guys weren't here last week, Jonathan is a parent of 2. He's in a co-parenting situation, so definitely has a lot of, just insight on the situation. And then I also have Davon here with me. He's a parent of 1, but also does a lot for a lot of other kids, and definitely has a lot of insight on this particular topic. We've talked a lot about this topic privately, so I know for a fact, once things get started, like this conversation is really going to be bananas. If you guys were present last week, Devon was actually called in during the end of last week's episode. And as you guys can see, if you watched it, like he really was talking spicy and really brought a lot of good topics up, right? So I want to start there. Like I want to start where we kind of left off at that episode. We were talking about a scenario with co-parenting in the sense of if you meet somebody, let's say it's like a one night stand or something like that, or just a situation where maybe y'all have an agreement where it's like, okay, we not really, messing with each other like that, or we not really, gonna go there. And the guy says, I don't want to have kids, right? So you're dealing with a guy and he says, listen, I don't want to have kids. And then somehow, some way, you get pregnant and then the guy splits, right? Is that guy wrong? And I'll start with you, D. Is the guy wrong for splitting, even though he said up front, like, this is not what I wanted to do?
Listen, it's like if you walk on the street and you step in, if you by mistake, because you and your phone, you walk on the street, right? And you step in dog shit, you got to deal with the after facts of that, right? You got to go somewhere, run fast, take it off your shoe, right? Make sure your shoes smell good. It's like we all got to be conscious with how we deal with individuals. We know how the biology of things is created, right? So once we know that if we're practicing unsafe sex, this can come into it, right? Now, if the guy tells the woman that, hey, listen, I'm not for this. This is not what I want to do. It's just not something what I want to do. And then it still happened and he skate, he's 100% in the wrong.
Right.
Because once you tell somebody something you don't want to do, from that moment on, we're not doing that unless we do it my way. And my way is I'm doing a rubber. I'm doing 3 rubbers. And then maybe even a 4th rubber. Right. And then we take it from there. Or we only doing it I don't even want to say unless you want a pill, the birth control pill. Let that be known. The birth control pill. Other than that, you shouldn't be doing adult things if you're not ready for the repercussions.
See,
Now, again, go
I'm
ahead.
with you on that one, bro. Like that's the thing that kind of when we talk about scenarios like that, and it's like, all right, well, he told you this not what he want. I think
Right,
on top of telling somebody that's not what you want, I think that there's certain precautions that come with that. Like you can't just say, all right,
right,
this is not what I want. Or if y'all do decide, like you said, to have unsafe sex, and that was like a clause in there, then I think that that's something that needs to be discussed, detailed. Like you know, like
right,
I want to have unsafe sex, but I don't want to have a kid. What are the alternatives? And I think too many times we're not talking about healthy alternatives when
right.
it comes to situations like that. So now people get in situations where they may be with somebody, dealing with somebody, just on some what they call it. I said it last week. The sneaky links, right? That might be a sneaky link or whatever, and and it just turned into something, but y'all not discussing the particulars, right? So
Right.
now, oh, go ahead, bro, go ahead.
So right, it could be discussed, and like it could be discussed in the beginning, the forefront of it. Listen, we just friends. We doing this on the side. I don't want nothing serious. You get what I'm saying? When you say you don't want nothing serious, you don't expect a baby to come out of that either. But
Right,
again, if you in your phone and you walking down the sidewalk and you step in dog shit, there's a repercussion you have to deal with after that because you were on your phone, you were not paying attention. So when you make that statement be known, you got to put in the work to make sure that that doesn't happen. And if you're
right,
not, I want to say, if you're not on your job, then that
mm,
can happen. And then you got to take responsibilities after that.
right, right. Bro, I definitely agree with you on that. Another thing that we talked about that I was just a little curious about was the whole, and this is for anybody that wasn't here last week, right? Was the whole idea of, so now you have this kid, right? And then the guy's not there, but then he wants to come back after the fact. Let's say 5 years later, 10 years later, he have a change of heart and he decide he want to be there, right? Like, is that okay? Like, who is that up to? Like, and I think John, you had a good point on that.
Yeah, I feel like after if you come back 5, 10 years later, um, she kind of like runs everything. You know what I'm saying? Like
Right,
so, she'll tell you when you can see him. You know what I'm saying? She'll tell you if you can see him.
right.
She'll tell you when to bring him back. You know what I'm saying? Like,
She say like now. So what if she say he can't? Like, what if she like, yo, you know what? You can't see him. Like, how do you eat that? Like,
I think you like you understand it obviously at first, and then you like sometimes you could just go through the court system. You get what I'm saying? Because
mm-hmm,
technically you can't deny somebody.
right,
You know what I'm saying? But if she does deny you, then you know what I'm saying, you got to see where she's coming from.
right,
You get what I'm saying?
right,
So, but my thing was with the sneaky friend. Sometimes it don't even be a sneaky link. Like you outside, you meet somebody. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, I think politically correct. The politically correct thing to say is, you have these conversations first. Realistically speaking, none of us is having those
right.
conversations. You know
A
what I'm
vast
saying?
majority
Yeah,
of
like
people is not.
we're
Yeah,
not having those conversations.
But
But
after
with
tonight, we want them to.
the
Go
so
ahead,
when
bro. Go ahead, John. Go ahead.
so when something happens, you know what I'm saying, and it's just like, yo, and now Shorty gets pregnant, and he like, yo, I don't want no kid. He's like, yo, nah, I'm good. You know what I'm saying? Whether you a side chick, whether you're a regular, he could be single. He just like, I don't want no kid. And if you go through with the kid, you're just preparing yourself to be a single mother. You know what I'm saying? Like, is he wrong? He's 100% wrong. But at the end of the day, he told you from jump. You know what I'm saying? So now at the end of the day, like, you can't just be out here bashing people because of such. Prepare yourself to be a single mother because he told you from jump.
right,
You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
yeah, I can't control what you do with your body, obviously,
Mm-hmm,
but you have to prepare yourself. Like, all right, he told me this is not what I want.
right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so now you have to deal with the repercussions on your own.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? So
yeah. I mean, and it's a sad story because it's one of those things where, like you said, it's not that it's right, but you were already warned. Like, you were forewarned that this is what's going to happen. So now when you're in that situation it's kind of like you almost have to expect that. We hope that, you know, maybe he was fronting and he really gonna do the right thing and really be there or whatever. But
some people like, I'm out. You know what I'm saying? Some people just like, no, I told you from jump.
Right.
You
And
know what I'm saying?
something that Shay said in our comments that I think was really good. She said contraceptives and pulling out is not 100% preventative. Once you lay down with somebody, both parties know they are taking a risk.
Yeah.
And that's 100% facts. And I think that that's something that I think that as a whole, as a community, as adults, that's something that we really all have to get in our head. Like,
that's the part we all ignore.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right. Like we just thinking about whatever's going on in that moment. You get what I'm saying? Whatever we thinking about, however we feeling on the inside or whatever towards that person, not even actually realizing that, yo, it's a risk involved. And I always tell my younger cousins and stuff like that, like, yo, bro,
things worse than babies.
Right. It's worse things out here than babies. Like, it's really worse things out here than babies. But when we're put in that situation, we're not thinking about that. Like, we're not thinking about
just in the moment.
Right. We're not thinking about things that's worse than babies. We're not thinking about babies. Like, you get what I'm saying? It's just like, all right, I'm thinking about getting these rocks off, right?
Yeah,
like,
sure,
and that's
right. But there's a repercussion for every action.
Yeah. Right. And Nikki said in our comments, everybody just think about the fun part and not the risks of what they don't want. Right. And not even just the risk of what they don't want, but maybe not even what they're ready for. Right. Like, not even just the fact that, because I know people that want kids, they just don't want kids right now, or they just didn't want kids when they had them. Like, you know what I'm saying? So that's something that we always got to think about.
And a lot of times,
right,
like when you have unprotected sex with somebody, like, and then a lot of times the female goes, well, you knew the consequences. It's like, well, you did too.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
It's a two-way street.
It's both ways. Like,
right.
I didn't rape you. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
It's a two-way street at the end of the day. It's just like, well, you knew the consequences too. You know what I'm saying? So
that's a fact.
Everybody has to like I was saying last week, there's no wrong answers to a lot of these topics.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
It's just different perspectives.
You gotta take, you know what I'm saying, like responsibility
for real
for a lot of y'all.
Absolutely.
And whatever works for you, work for you. Like, and then one of the things that Shay just said in our comments is, well, the father has to also prepare themselves for the repercussions when and if they want to come back. Some women hold grudges, and that's a fact. And that's what we was kind of getting to before I diverted. But when we were talking about,
I feel like if you come back 10 years later, then she has a right to hold a grudge.
Right.
You get what I'm saying?
Right. And I think men need to accept that. And for all the men that are watching now and that will watch in the future, I don't want y'all to think like this is like the men bashing club, like, you get what I'm saying, or the deadbeat bashing club or whatever. But this is realistic. There are so many men that get into situations like this and they want to be mad at the mother, or they want to be mad at the female. Like, oh, she won't let me see my son. She won't let me do this, that. Bro, you've been gone for 7 years, 5 years, 3 years. Like, even a year is too long, because at the end of the day, people change so much. The amount of things that you could be into. I don't know you after a year. Like, I'm not the same person I was last year. Like, you know what I'm saying? I don't know where you live at, who you're around, what type of things you into. And you expect, because we both know that this is your child, or let's just say you signed a birth certificate and then split, right? So just because it's your kid, you cannot leave for an extended period of time and expect this woman to just be like, all right, here, you his father, so just take him. Like, I think that's where a lot of men mess up and get frustrated.
I think that's kind of bogus though. But let's really get into it. So let's get into that moment right there, right? So let's think about it. So if I tell you that, well, if I tell a woman that I'm not ready for kids, and let's get into it, like, maybe I'm not mentally ready, because maybe I'm going through something mentally. I'm not ready for kids, and she want a kid because her sister had a kid, or her best friend just had a baby the year before. So she want to carry on another life, not knowing what that life is going to bring, but she think it's cute. And she have a baby for me when I know I'm not mentally ready. So it takes me 3 years, 5 years to get mentally ready to take care of a kid. So and then when I'm ready, should I not be in my kid life? Should it be like dictated to the point the white man got to come down and dictate it for us? Or should I be able to come around like, listen, I wasn't ready then. We ain't have the best relationship, but I'm here now. And I want to be there just for my kid.
I mean,
So what do a man do then?
I mean, for me personally, I think that I like the fact that like the way the situation that you described, that the man is now coming and saying, yes, I did wrong. I was in this state of mind, whatever the case may be, but now I want to do better. I think that that's a great way to start, because that's
Right.
a form of acknowledgement, and then now y'all can kind of start y'all on the same page of understanding what you're doing, what you're trying to do going forward. But at the end of the day, bro, for me, I feel like that doesn't change the nights that she was up to the 5 o'clock in the morning because he had colic and he was screaming, and she had to do all that by herself and figure all that out by herself. And for her to now just put that trust in this, and because at the end of the day, we got to think about it, it's just been her and this kid. Like, that's
Right.
it. Like, me and you against the world. Like, just like it's been you and and hopefully a village, family and
Mhm.
helping and stuff. But it's just been you and this kid. So to just say, all right, here you go. I
Mhm.
don't think that that's ideal, but I do think though.
He has to be patient.
Yeah, that's what I see. That's what I
I
got.
couldn't hear him.
No, he said he got
He
to
has
be
to be
patient.
patient.
I think he got
He got to be
to
patient.
a
All
certain
right, but you gotta. I don't think. All right, so like, look at statistics, right? A lot of young girls having babies because they think babies is cool. They missing something in their life, and they think a baby will fulfill that void. A baby does not fulfill what you're missing in life.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you want to be technical, so if your boyfriend at the time, even if you're dating him, and he tells you, "Listen, I'm not ready for kids," and that kid happen, he say like, "Oh, I'm not ready for it. I really don't want to do this. I'm not ready for that." Should he really be faulted because he told you he wasn't ready, right? And you just think it's a fad to have a kid. It's almost like getting the newest Yeezys or almost newest coat. Every young girl just want to go out and have a kid because that's the newest thing. Oh, my sister just had a baby, and her baby's so adorable, and the baby's is cute.
It's right. Like, they
You're having a baby because it's a fad, and you're not even thinking about it. But this man is telling you, like, yo, I don't think that's what we should do right now. So if
Right.
she choose to have that baby, and I get it, like I said earlier, the repercussions of your actions, you got to deal with it. But we really got to come hard on certain women. Some women have baby out of spite. So we're gonna come hard on men, which I am with you guys, with
Yeah.
saying, listen, if the baby is there, or if the baby is there and you've been away from that kid 10 years, it's whatever the women say. I stand with you guys. But women have baby for a fact, and sometimes the men just can't deal with that situation. Like, it just maybe he's not in a position to deal with that situation. Like, you get what I'm saying? So we gotta be hard on women too, to even be like, oh, so you just want to have the baby out of spite, or you just want to have the baby because the baby is a fashionable purse or item?
Right. And
Yeah,
Like, we
I
gotta go ahead.
I don't agree with if you tell her like, yo, look, I'm not mentally ready for this. You get what I'm
Mhm.
saying? Like, and then she goes through with it. I don't agree with her just going through it on her own. You get what I'm saying? But what I'm saying is, 10 years later, if she already did it on her own, because when it comes to kids, a lot of people say that, oh, it's hard, it's hard, it's hard. The financial part is not the hard part. That's the easy part. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's the finding a work schedule that work around. You know what I'm saying? Like, having somebody to babysit the child. Because if you ain't
Right.
getting daycare, is like, that shit is out of control. Like, you know what I'm saying? How much it costs? So you
Right.
can really fault her, like, yo, 10 years?
yeah, that's OD.
Bro, what? Like, you know how much I just had to go through? You
Right.
get what I'm saying? So that's why I said both parties are not wrong or right.
Right.
You know
Right.
what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, you should have understood. You should have understood. Like, he said, he didn't want. He said he didn't want no child. You know what I'm saying? He told you from jump.
Right.
You know, but then you have to understand like what it does to her mentally, what
Right.
it does to her
Right.
body. You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes
We
we don't know what, you know what I'm saying, what a woman's body go through. You know, you get an abortion, like they say, you might not be able to like reproduce again.
Right.
We don't, you know what I'm saying? So a lot of times we don't take something. So everybody needs to take everything into consideration. And like you were saying
Right.
earlier, a lot of people want a kid just because it looks cool. They want the
Right.
pictures.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Cute
Like,
outfits, matching
yeah, they
outfits.
think that they want a kid. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of people don't be ready for a kid. You know, like once you get off social media and you turn that phone off and it's back to reality, like, a lot of people are not ready
Right.
for kids. Like,
And really don't want
and
kids.
it's not a bad thing to not be ready for kids. You know what I'm saying? Like that is a whole
Right.
life.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like
That
you're
you're
not even
responsible for.
you're not even well put together yourself. So now you're worrying about you. You're worrying about this kid. You know what I'm saying? Like
That's a fact. That's a fact. And Shay said in our comments, to echo what both of y'all said, you know, men should want to protect themselves, period. Besides STDs, some women be plotting. And that's a fact. Like, you know what I'm saying? I have a cousin, you know, who told me like he had a kid not that long ago. He was basically saying like, I'm like, yo, like if y'all wasn't, you know, serious, like why did she have the kid? And he was basically telling me like, you know, because she was like, yo, she see how I am with my kid, and she thought like
that happens a lot. You
like
know
it
what
was
I'm saying?
going like you know what I'm saying,
That happens
and
a lot.
they want that, like you know what I'm saying, and it's for a lot of different reasons. But on the flip side, men be plotting, so y'all gotta be careful. Like you get on both sides of the fence, both parties be plotting, like you get what I'm saying. So you could be in a situation where you think like, you know, those little comments that he making, like, yo, I'm gonna put a baby and I'm gonna put a baby. No, he's serious. He's serious. Like first,
just for that 3-second bliss.
yeah, and
Rocket.
he's dead serious. And the first chance he get, he's gonna do it. Like so, y'all gotta really, you know, be careful with that. Nikki said in our comments. Hold on. Nikki said in our comments, it's not a bad thing to not want kids, but make sure you protect yourself to make sure you don't have kids. That's a fact.
I agree. It's like what we were saying earlier though. Like that's never in your mind. You just like, damn, shorty's all right.
But it should be.
Drinking, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Now you just like the last thing you're thinking about is kids.
Right. That absolute last thing.
But if you step in dog shit, you still gotta clean it off. You're still gonna have that lingering smell because you're in your phone and not paying attention.
Facts.
Come on, bro.
Definitely got to make sure that you pay attention to people's words, because people will tell you who they are if you listen long enough, right? Yeah. And I believe that even as far as like when we talk about co-parenting and the idea that two people are now co-workers for the rest of their life. Because me personally, I don't believe in the whole till your kid is 18. Like, you know what I'm saying? You're a parent for the rest of your life. I'm sorry. If I need somewhere to stay today, I'm 31 years old. I can come back to my mother's house. Like, you know what I'm saying? I can come back to my dad's house. Like, you know what I'm saying? Parenting is forever. Like, you know what I'm saying? Anything, advice, if I need money, like if your parents are still there and accessible to you, like you can always reach out to them. And that's the type of parent that I want to be. So I don't look at things like, you know what, like my kid got to be, you know, 18 or whatever. Once they 18, they on their own. Like, so this person that you dealing with, this other person, y'all gonna be, when your kid get married, guess who's gonna be there together? Y'all. Like, when your kid have a kid, guess who's gonna be at the hospital? Y'all. Like, grandkids and all that. Like, y'all, it's never gonna stop. Like, the idea that y'all just gonna be able to break apart.
What about situations like y'all was together 4 or 5 years? You know what I'm saying? Like, and now y'all spoke about a kid,
right?
Everything was perfect. The kid comes, you just like, I don't know this person no more. Like your BM just completely changed. You know that happens a lot. You know, or the baby father is just like, yo, you was mad excited, bro.
Exit stage left.
Nah, I'm joking. But go ahead, my guy.
Yo, what the fuck is going on? Like, this is not the person I just dealt with. 4 or 5 people just changed.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so how do you handle that?
Right.
I mean, it's just part of being an adult. Like, as people, we forever a revolving door of dealing and like experiencing different situations. So like you just got to know yourself. Like, so if you do make a child and you're dealing with somebody that helped you bring a child into this world, you honestly just gotta, and if you're not dealing no more 4 years into it, you really just gotta be there for yourself and your child, bro. Because you took part in something that's lifelong. Like Trey was just saying, it's not until you're 18. You ain't take something until your child is 18 or 15 when he's able to do for herself or she's able to do for herself. That's a lifelong bond. You get what I'm saying? So again, we gotta be mindful of the actions that we take. And then sometimes we gotta be in tune with ourselves, love ourselves to know how could we love other people. Because once we know how we could love other people, we know how to deal with other people.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? So it's like, if that goes sour, you know yourself, you know your love, you know how far your love could go. You may
That's a
not be in your son life, but you pull up on birthdays, you pull up on holidays, you get the number, you text your son good morning, and that's still a relationship. You gotta
Mhm.
figure out how can you deal with that child in your life based off the type of person that you are. You get what I'm saying? So it definitely can work. There's no like, oh, I don't fuck with her no, so I ain't really fuck on him right now. Then you get a new girl, and then she got a
Yeah.
son, but you over there with that son. What about your son? What about your kids, nigga? What about your kids? That's a Kendrick Lamar verse, but whatever. But yeah, you gotta make sure that you always in tune, bro. You did that.
Yeah.
You made
Yeah.
that kid. You created that. That's a piece of you.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
nobody could take away. That's a piece of you. So you should always want to be there. And any man that's not there, that they know that on this earth that they created, and they not dealing with no crazy mental issues or anything crazy that's like stopping them from being there, anything too crazy, not locked up or 1,000 miles away. Listen, you can't sit at the same table as us. You got to be there, man. You got to
Yeah.
be there.
That's a fact, bro. And honestly, just like thinking about that situation, you together 4 or 5 years, y'all have a kid. Like I've seen that.
And people just change up on you.
I've
You just
seen
like,
that. Like, yo, to be honest with you, like I've seen situations, not even just 4 or 5 years we have a kid and then you switch up. I've seen people together 4, 5, 6, 7, 10 years, and they got a 3-year-old, 4-year-old, whatever, and they break up, and it's like I don't want to be a dad no more. Wait, what?
What?
crazy.
What? I've seen that with my own two eyes.
Oh my God, bro.
Like you know how when you date a woman or a man that has children, people always say it's a package deal. It's a package deal. Like I don't understand how there's baby fathers and baby mothers that move like that. Like, bro, it's not a package deal. Like this your kid. Like regardless of you together or not together. That's never
Right.
the wire. Yeah, bro. So like just stuff like that is just real crazy to me. Like how people can do things like that. Like I've seen people that literally are the best parents in the world until the situation change and they not together, and then now they don't want nothing to do with the kid. They seem extra frustrated with the kid, not understanding that. And maybe it could be like a postpartum relationship thing where maybe you going through
Right.
something and you taking it out
Is
on the
that a
kid.
thing? Postpartum relationship?
I don't
We
know.
getting somewhere, bro. We getting somewhere.
I don't know, bro. Like I don't know if maybe people are suffering from something.
Right.
But like Nikki said on Instagram, people will break up with the girlfriend and their kid too. And it's a shame. Like you know what I'm saying? Or when we talk about co-parenting, I think a lot of times one of the things that I think about is lifestyle, right? And I think that that's one of the things that's not talked about enough before having kids, and even when we have kids, like lifestyle and the person's lifestyle that you're dealing with, right? So now you may be with somebody that like to go to the club all the time, or you may be with somebody that like to go play sports or hang out with their friends all the time or whatever, and then you have a kid. And to be honest with you, one of the things that I would say about kids is they take a lot of time. Like John said earlier, money is the easy part. Time is what they really need, like to learn, grow, to be loved. But then you got people who have kids and they don't want to give up, or not even give up, right? Because that's another misconception, that your life over when you have kids. It's not over. It just changed a little bit. Like,
You gotta learn to manage it.
yeah, like you got to manage your time. So certain things that you do, you can't do as much as you used to do, right? And I think that's another thing that parents like conflict with. Like, you get what I'm saying? Knowing that, yo, yeah, I used to play in a tournament every month. I can't make every game no more. Like, you get what I'm saying?
You also gotta like when you gotta know who you're dealing with. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times, like everybody is in such a rush. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if it's the social media, whatever it is. Like you see people having kids together in a year. You know what I'm saying? Like when our parents were growing up, it took you a year just to hit. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And everybody is in such a rush now. People are not taking the time to get to know each other. You get what I'm saying? Like a lot of people are having kids 21, 20. I had my son at 20. You know what I'm saying? So people are not taking time and people are not growing. You know, like
Right.
relax, bro. Like when you hit your 30s, you're not old. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
like, and like, I love my kids to death. I would have had a kid probably now. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm in my 30s. You know what I'm saying? I don't even want to be in New York. You know what I'm saying? But now I have 2 baby mothers. I can't leave New York. You know what I'm saying? I have a kid over here. I have a kid over there. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm now figuring out who I am. You know what I'm saying? Like, I went from I used to only deal with cash. I would no debit card, no credit card, nothing.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, like now, you know, I'm evolving as a person. You know what I'm saying? So now that I'm evolving as a person, there's some things that I just like that I want to do with myself, but I can't do it. You know what I'm saying? Because now I'm just learning myself, and now I have 2 baby mothers in 2 different areas.
Mm-hmm.
You get what I'm saying? So now that you gotta be patient. This is what I always tell the younger people: stop rushing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, take your time. Like, you don't even know Shorty, or Shorty don't even know you. You know what I'm saying? Because she looking at you a certain way, and you like, yo, and you looking at your man like, bro, I know you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, stop running.
Right.
You really have to, like, everybody need to, like, take their time. Like, it's no rush.
Slow down.
There's no rush. Stop comparing your real life to somebody's highlights on social media. Like,
bruh.
You know what I'm saying? Like, calm down.
That's
you know what
the
I'm saying?
one.
Calm down. Like,
that's the one.
Get to know who you're dealing with, man, because it's real out
here. Yeah.
It's real out here. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's co-parenting is not easy.
Yeah.
You know? So one of the problems I have, my kids don't live with me. You know what I'm saying? So if I get my kids on weekends, and you like, he can't do such and such and such because he was bad in school this week. Well, I only got him half of Friday, the whole Saturday, half of Sunday. I gotta try to squeeze. So now, like, what I'm supposed to do? Discipline him?
Right.
When I ain't see him all week. So you gotta work together. You know, it's tough. You know what I'm saying? At the same time, I get where she's coming from, because she's gonna say, if she's gonna say, like, so he could just be bad all week and he just go with you and have a good time.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So you gotta co-parenting is for real. Like,
right.
You know what I'm saying?
And it's
like,
literally co-parenting. Like, y'all literally co-workers for the rest, whether y'all like it or not. Like, y'all literally co-workers. Like,
anybody out there that don't have no kids, be patient. Get to know your person. Get to know yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like, get to know yourself. Like, you really learn yourself around the age of 30. When you're in your 20s, you're confused.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Damn, I want to get fly, but damn, I need to save up to be. You just all over the place when you're 20.
Do I want to go to college? I don't know what my major going to be.
Like, be patient. You know what I'm saying? Like, trust me, be patient. Make sure this is the person that you want to, and females too. Make sure that this is the person that you want to end up with.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because it's just hard. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of things that I'm in my kid's life, but there's a lot of things that I miss out on. You get what I'm saying? Like, naturally. You know what I mean? Because if you're not together no more, y'all not in the same house no more. You know what I'm saying? You missed the first words.
Right.
You probably missed the first steps. You know what I'm saying? It was daddy take your child to school day. You didn't know.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you miss out on a lot. And people always think about the financial part. That's the easy part.
Right.
That is one of the easiest things. You know, children place, and $100, you get like so much clothes.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, now if you want to put on, and put your kid in Gucci all day, like that's on you. You know what I'm saying?
That's different. So what's that thoughts on marriage though? Right? Because I feel like when we talk about having kids, right? Because you said something that really like rung a bell, like as far as like get to know the person, because at the end of the day, it's a lifelong commitment. But we see people committing to have kids, which is a lifelong commitment, but probably would never marry that person. Like, so like what, like for you, D, like what do you think about that as far as like one commitment being so easy to make, but the other one being so hard to make, but they both lifelong commitments?
Oh man. Honestly, I'm being completely vulnerable. Like, I always struggle with that. Like, because I think about me and my son's mom. In my eyes, I think that's gonna be a forever thing. But then when it comes to marriage, I just be like, yeah, I'm not really ready to do that. But why not? If I just said on the other end, that's gonna be a forever thing. Mm-hmm. You get what I'm saying? So I've always kind of struggled with that. I don't know if that's something just in me. I don't know what that is actually for me. But again, to everybody else, like, you got to know your situation. I feel like this is just the outside looking in. They both should be hand in hand. And something that John said as well. Like, listen, you gotta be doing these things with people that you want to be with for the long haul. You get what I'm saying? So if you going in raw, that's somebody you should want to be with for the long haul. But things don't work out that way. So, man, for me, marriage should be the next step. But then again, I don't know. I don't know if I'm scared of, because I don't know what forever means yet for myself. I still got to figure that out for myself. But eventually, I feel like I have to do it because we all want to. You've been with it almost 10 years. Like, you gotta get it done. That's what everybody say. That's what everybody say. When you've been together for 3 years, oh yeah, you deserve a kid together. A year and a half. You love him? Why you have his baby yet? He want a son. He telling you he want a son. You get what I'm saying? So it's like the pressures that society put on you, but I don't know, like personally. So
I think you have to. I think you have to be realistic with yourself. If after dealing with you for about 6-8 months, I know what it is. Right. So I don't know you completely. Like I said, it takes forever to know somebody.
Right.
But I have some type of idea. I know this is who I want to deal with or who I don't. You know, it don't take 15 years now. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, you have an idea.
But again, so like every year, every human being reset. You get what I'm saying? Every year. So we're always in a building stage. So when you say I want to get married to you, you're saying I forever want to build with you.
Yeah. Right.
Because we're forever in a building stage. Nobody just said, all right, I'm gonna be this person for the next 30 years that you got me, that we married for. You get what I'm saying? So even when you're talking to somebody like, oh yeah, I like this person seemed cool, I could get along with this person. When you want to get married to that person, you're gonna be like, listen, I know I'm not gonna get along with that person, but I'm gonna force myself to.
Exactly. So marriage is really just a tool, and I've heard this before, that marriage is a tool for building. You get what I'm saying? Not really as much as a vehicle for love. Shay said in our comments, let me see if we can see the whole comment. Yeah, so Shay said in our comments, women rush to lock the man down once they have a kid, trying to force a family because now they feel like they have claims to that person. Rush into marriage for convenience and not love. Convenience of knowing his every move and keeping him tied down. Women, I need to hear y'all in the comments on this one. I need to hear y'all in the comments. For this one, I want to know what y'all think about that. Me personally, I see that. Like, I have seen that, and I've seen men do that too, right? Where people use the kid to lock the other person down, or even marriage, right? I've seen plenty of people be married and like really be sitting there looking like y'all really don't like each other. Like, not even forget love, y'all really don't like each other at all. Like,
and that's because y'all learned each other. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to take that time to, like, there's people getting married at 50, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to take the time to get to know that person, man. Like, you really have to, like.
Right. Because it's for the kid, ultimately.
Right. And then your self-happiness.
Right.
You could be the best parent in the world. You know what I'm saying? But now it's like you're going to marry this person, and then you're just going to be miserable. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to know, you really have to get to know that person.
And the crazy part about it is, and I always tell people this.
Make sure you're ready. My fault. Make sure you're ready. Let's say you have a kid. All right, like, it don't mean get married next week. You know, like, be patient. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
If it takes you however long, you know what I'm saying, as far as marriage.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because you have to, like, a lot of us don't know ourselves. Like I was saying earlier, I'm now getting to know who I am. You know what I'm saying? I'm now content with who I am. You know what I'm saying? Like, so you get to know you first, get rid of some of your insecurities, because a lot of times, like, relationships don't work out. You know what I'm saying? You telling Shorty, yo, I was calling you. Why you ain't answer? You know why you worried about you? Why you ain't answer? Because when you don't answer, you know what you was doing. You know what I'm saying? So,
that's a fact.
Exactly. So a lot of things come from within. You know what I'm saying? A lot of issues, like, so you gotta heal yourself, man. All you're gonna do, if you're not healed yourself, all you're gonna do is damage the next person.
Yeah.
You know, that's literally all that you're gonna do.
That's
You know
a
what I'm
fact.
saying? If you have insecurities, or I don't trust nobody, that's something I need to deal with. You know what I'm saying? Like, and
Right.
just be patient
Right.
until you're completely healed.
Yeah, that's a
Well,
fact.
wait, hold on. But PSA, we not telling anybody to have a kid before you get married.
I ain't gonna
Y'all,
lie. I
y'all
was just
all
about
know
to
it's the
say
other
that.
way around.
I was just about to say that. That's funny that you beat me to the punch. I was just about to say that because at the end of the day, like we've been saying, like kids are a lifelong commitment, and like John's been saying, like really take your time, get to know yourself and the other person. So now once you know yourself, once you know that other person, and you say, you know what, this is my person, this is like we're for each other, then why not get married? I hear so many
Right.
times that, you know, and Shay said in our comments, I definitely want to comment on this in conjunction with what I'm saying. You can have the best relationship being fully committed to one another, and sometimes marriage destroys that. Marriage changes things and people. I agree with Shay
Why though?
to a certain extent,
No, I'm saying
I was
no.
gonna say why. I was gonna say
I
how
agree
so.
with her,
Why?
but why does that? She's right,
but
but why does that happen?
I think that
I was gonna
happens.
say why. Same thing.
Look, I believe that happens is because people have an idea of
Mhm.
what marriage is rather than making marriage their own. Like,
So
so
they created a scenario.
you
In
get
their
what I'm
head.
saying?
I
So
got
so
you.
I
Yeah,
think
yeah, yeah.
sometimes you may get in a scenario where you with somebody, right? And let's say y'all in a situation where y'all do everything 50 and not necessarily 50-50, but what I mean by that is like, all right, she don't necessarily have to cook. If you get home, you'll cook. She don't necessarily have to clean. If you see a dish in the sink, you'll wash it. But sometimes people have, and I'm just using these as an example, but sometimes people have a perception of what marriage is. So when we get married, you got to do this. When you get married, you got to do this. And now you catch yourself.
Life is about lanes, like
Right.
you said. This is your lane. Stay in
Right.
your lane. Like,
So just because we get married, that don't mean that I no longer have to touch a broom again, that I no longer have to cook again. Our relationship is whatever our relationship is. Marriage is just us saying this is us. This is me and you together forever. The dynamics of our relationship, that's between me and you. That's nobody's business unless we choose to share. But I think a lot of times that's the difference between relationships and marriage, because now when people get in these scenarios, once you say marriage, it just feels like, well, we got to be like this. No, you don't.
yeah.
And that's another reason why I believe that people should get married first, other than my faith-based beliefs. But another reason why I believe that people should get married before they have kids is because sometimes people get married and they don't get a chance to enjoy marriage with each other. Like how much, like you know what I'm saying? Like before kids, and you got you now have all this time on your hand. You know, let's say y'all both work or one
Right.
person work, whatever the case may be. Y'all can go on trips. You know, y'all can really enjoy each other.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? Versus we have to find a babysitter, and I don't want to, like, y'all can take a month-long vacation if y'all budget can afford it.
Correctly, yeah.
But you can't do that with a kid. Who want to be away their kid? Like, not even because you can't. I don't know any parents that want to be away from their kid for a month. Like, you get what I'm saying? So I really think to go back to what she said, I really think it destroys marriage, destroys certain things, because a lot of times, you know, you get people that want to be the idea of marriage and not what their marriage can personally be.
You can't admire the next person's marriage and the next person's relationship.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You got to work on yours. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? Like
Right.
all that goals and all that other stuff. Like when we all fall into it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
I caught myself saying that.
Right. Relationship goals.
I'm saying, but
For real.
Like,
yeah,
bro,
man,
this is not goals. Like what I have going on is goals. Every day, every week, every month, right? Because like I said earlier, I'm not the same person I was last year. I'm not the same person I was last month, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm continually trying to evolve. The person that I'm with, if we on the same page, they're continuously evolving too. So why would I want to be like anybody else? I'm trying to mold and build what we trying to be. Like, you get what I'm saying? And it's the same thing with parenting. People see they like other parents buying their kids certain toys, dressing them a certain kind of way, and you trying to mimic that. And now you going dead broke. Now your kid got less toys on Christmas. Like now, like your kid is missing out on so much other stuff. You killing yourself at work, working extra hours, not to buy a house, but to buy Burberry. Like, you get what I'm saying? Now your kid is losing out on time with you. You get what I'm saying? So don't mimic the next person, man. Like you gotta
be
Question.
Yeah, go ahead, bro.
Question. So you just bought in the brands, right? You just bought in the brands, and I heard I don't want to say a relative. I heard someone say the other day, yeah, because I only want my son wearing Jordan, so his father got to pay for this.
See?
And the father's doing the best he could, but you only want your child to only wear a certain brand, and the father has to pay for this. So now, is getting your child everything he needs, or whatever the mother said he needs, or just getting him what's sufficient? A pair of sneakers is sufficient. If they name brand, that's a necessity. That's a plus. You get what I'm saying? So what about like with those mothers who be like, all right, yeah, but if he don't buy my child this, then my child can't wear this. Because that's what happens a lot.
That happens a lot, yeah.
You buy one can of milk that's not the right brand. Oh, you don't do nothing for the child. I tried. I bought 8 cans of milk to the table. It's maybe not the right brand because it's a lack of communication, but he tried. If he's not buying his kid the most brand names, how does that work?
You buy it then.
Wait. I'm sorry. What just happened?
I'm saying, like, I would tell her you buy it. You buy it. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, like, if you feel this is how he has to dress, you know what I'm saying? Then you got to be able to provide that too. You know what I mean? Like,
but so that's a thing, though. That's literally a thing. Right. If you don't buy the brands, you ain't buying nothing.
Right. And my thing, the crazy part about that is when I hear stuff like that, especially when the child is like a newborn / toddler, that really like blows my mind. He gonna grow out of that tomorrow. Like, yo, I remember buying my son clothes. Like, first of all, my son is 2 years old and he wears 14. So just like, my son has never worn diapers. Could you imagine like what it was like buying him sneakers? Like, yo, no funny. I'm one of the parents that's thankful for the pandemic because, to be honest with you, my son was in the crib all the time. Mm-hmm. Like, you know what I'm saying? So if I got enough onesies, enough, he not, you know what I'm saying? I got clothes for him to go outside and play and run around, but I don't got to think about like, all right, I got to this, like, but he growing like no tomorrow, like growing like nobody business. So you think I'm really about to be buying? Like, I want to go buy a pair of Uggs for my son. Again, 2 years old. Uggs is like $100. Wait, what? There's sneakers in my size that's $100. Like, what's going on here? Like, and am I really gonna buy these Uggs and he can't wear them next year? I ain't gonna lie. Probably if I got it
in 6 months. He ain't gonna wear it in 6 months.
If I got it, you get what I'm saying. But to make it a priority and say like he has to have this on, I don't think that that's a fair thing to do. I think us as people, and Natalie just said, she said 2 things in our comments. She said, one, get an understanding before you purchase, set up an agreement. So I think that that's one. Like, y'all should have an agreement. Like, you want him in
go half with me,
right? Like some type of agreement. And then the second thing that she said was priorities: designer clothes or teaching the child their ABCs. That's a fact. Like, you get what I'm saying? My thing is, I think so many times we try to fit in too much to whatever the world is doing. And at the end of the day, you breaking your pockets down. If you don't have that, you don't have that. But if you got it, if you have expensive
taste, you can afford it, then go ahead. You know, right. Nobody's knocking you, but there's people that really put themselves in jeopardy.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and you have adults doing that. Like, let's say 2-3 years ago, I was doing that. You know what I'm saying? Like, just because I had a reputation for having every pair of sneakers, that was my reputation. So now I'm trying to live up to it. You know what I'm saying? I started realizing you're buying all of this and you're literally going nowhere. I don't go outside.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, but it was just to show, yeah, I got this. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just like Natalie said, like my priorities were all wrong.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's like I was saying earlier, I'm starting to learn myself.
Right.
I don't need to do that no more. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't need to wear this no more. I don't need to, you know what I'm saying? Like,
that's a fact. And Jay said in our comments on Instagram, he said, just do what's best for your child. Be smarter in decision making. Instead of sneakers and clothes, I bought him some stocks. The baby mother just got to suck it up. Like, your child would appreciate it. You know what I'm saying? So it's just certain things where, as a parent, you just got to decide, okay, what's the best thing for the child? And it's always good to
Right.
be on the same page. Like, you get what I'm saying? There's gonna be some
Absolutely.
things that, you know, you as a mother, you're gonna do that maybe the father doesn't agree with, or some things you're gonna do as a father that the mother not gonna agree with. But if it's not harming the child and you believe that it's the best thing for the child, then the other party just got to suck it up. Like, you get what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
if it's the best thing for him, like, you get what I'm saying? And it just is what it is. Just like at work. Like,
know who you get pregnant.
yo,
See?
yeah, because just like with your boss,
That's
pregnant. I'm saying, like,
right.
who you have a baby with, like,
you're not gonna agree with everything your boss say. You're not gonna agree with everything your supervisor say.
A lot of times, baby mothers are the ones saying, "Don't buy that." You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah,
a lot of times it'd be like, "Nah, my son got to be dripped out. My daughter got to be dripped out." A lot of times it's the fathers that want to be having their kids dressed like this.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Again, know who you have a baby with.
yeah.
You
That's
know
a
what
fact.
I'm saying? Like,
That's a
or
fact.
just try. Because like I said, people change
So
up.
so are we saying it's not about how long you stroke, it's about how long you know the person.
Yeah, bro, for real.
I'm telling you, time.
Time is important.
I'm telling you, and if you get to a point,
Yeah,
where
that's
you
key.
feel
That's
like
a
you
major
can
key.
marry- yeah. Now you get to the point where you feel like you can marry a person. That's the person that you need to be having a kid with. Like, you get what I'm saying? Like, that's a person that you need to be having a kid with. And to be honest with you,
Right.
like, one of the things that we kind of touched on a little bit was just life and how fast it passed by, right? Like, I remember being 20, thinking I was grown. I was telling people I was grown, like, man, I'm grown, like, at 20. And to be honest with you, it wasn't until I got in my late 20s that I started feeling like, oh wait, I think I'm starting to figure this out. And I still don't have it all figured out, and I never will have it all figured out.
Ideal.
But it show you how fast it passed by. Like, I can remember being 15 like it was yesterday. Like, you get what I'm saying? Like, it show
Right.
you how fast. And once it's over, it's over. Like, you get what I'm saying? There's no respawn button. There's no reset. There's no, once it's over, it's over. I say that, all that to say, marriage is okay. Committed relationships are okay. You don't have to jump straight to the baby. You don't have to jump to the white picket fence. Like, enjoy each other. If you have the opportunity to, because there are people that you know, like us, that have kids, and let's say they may be single, like, you get what I'm saying? So you might get a package deal. So, you know, you may have to deal with, you know, finding a babysitter and things of that sort or whatever, and that's okay. But if you're somebody where y'all both single, neither one of y'all have kids, enjoy each other, like,
Even
as
if
long
y'all-
as you can.
Even if y'all co-parent really, really well,
Right.
it's not easy. You know what I'm saying? Like, co-parenting in two different homes is very, very difficult. I don't care how much y'all get on.
Right.
It's not easy, man. Like, just like I said, like Trey just said, just be patient, enjoy each other. You know what I'm saying? Go on trips, have some fun, get to know each other, like, and just be patient.
Right.
Be patient.
Communication is key. Communication is key. Always put the child first. Once you guys put the child first, everything else will fall in line. Like, when you put God first, everything else fall in line. Put the child first and make sure that you guys are able to communicate. Because 9 times out of 10, don't be about the relationship no more, but it's more about the relationship for that child, to make sure that child grow up healthy. So that's co-parenting.
And then the crazy part, you know, something I think we don't talk about enough, Cole. How one of my mans have said this, and he was supposed to be on today, but he had to work. He was saying that he don't believe in co-parenting. Like, he think that word should just be thrown away, because at the end of the day, you're a parent. Like, you get what I'm saying? Like, you're a parent at the end of the day. Talking about like co-parenting, like he basically was saying like co-parenting sounds like there's some sort of wager, like a 50-50, like, you know, I do this, you do this, and at the end of the day, that's not the case. Because whether we together or not, you're still a parent. If we're together, you're still a parent. If I walk out this room and you here, you're a parent. Like, you get what I'm saying? Like, and I think too many times we talk about co-parenting when people are not together, not realizing that we got to work together whether we together or not. Like, you get what I'm saying? We still gonna have to talk about, well, you know, I'm okay with him wearing this. I'm okay with this being his curfew. I'm okay with him going to this school, him eating this after this time. Like, you get what I'm saying? Y'all still have to have these conversations, right? So that's another thing that I think that people that are in relationships with kids y'all gotta understand that y'all not gonna agree just because y'all together. You get what I'm saying? And one of
Right.
y'all can't force the beliefs on the other person because y'all two different people. And my dad, he always say like, you know, my relationship with y'all is different than your mother relationship with y'all. Like, but my father never let us like he never let us play with my mother. Like, oh, you think y'all finna be acting like nah, he never let us play with her, but we knew that there was a difference. Like, you get what I'm saying? So y'all still, even if you together, gotta work together. Like, what do you think is like some good tips for you, D? Like for people that are still with their kid's mother or their kid's father, and maybe like low key, because people don't really they want to show the highlights on social media and stuff. They don't really talk about it out loud. But maybe somebody that's not talking about it out loud, but maybe they're having that struggle, like parenting and kind of getting along or getting their point across when it comes to the kid.
Again, man. Again, like what I deal with, it's not easy. And I'm a testimony myself. Honestly, I just think about the best for my son. I think the best for every other kid. That means when we are communicating, that's not us yelling at each other. That's us being mindful of the atmosphere and trying to come to an agreement. So I'm always just try to be mindful, man. No matter how upset I am, how unfair I felt things were to me, if I felt like I did the most this week, or if you did the less this week, you get what I'm saying? It's never that. Like, and I never try to like put kids in adult situations. So I just try to be the happiest person I could be. I encourage her to be the happiest person she could be for our kid too, and the other kids as well. Like, man, just take it one day at a time, bro. It's a revolving door.
Right. That's
It's
a
a
fact.
revolving door
I'm,
of
I'm gonna throw
change
a
just to
comment
make
at
sure
you
there's a
too.
better environment.
Look,
Go
I'm gonna
ahead.
throw a comment at you from Instagram. Jay said that's true, but don't forget about the relationship. A healthy relationship is needed. Um, and then he said one of the main things is to address issues ASAP. So what
Right, right.
like your thoughts about like a healthy relationship? How much of a part does that play in parenting?
I think it plays. That's the key role of parenting, a healthy relationship between the mom and the dad.
Mhm.
I think it's again, it all go back to communication. It depends on how you guys communicate, because guys could be together for 10 years and just decide one day like we're not gonna do this no more. But if that 10 years was great communication, the next lifetime is still gonna be great communication. But
Right,
if the
right, right.
communication was always rocky, once you guys split, it's like, all right, so how I'm gonna do this and how you gonna do that? No, you gotta take this, and no, you gotta take that, because I'm tired of this and you tired of that. Always go back down to great communication, man. Even if the relationship is excellent, still great communication. I know that you like this because you told me that you like this and I listened. And
Right,
I don't
right.
like this. And you listen because you know I don't like that. So how could you help me? I'm down now. Are you up? Can you help us? How could we get up together? So it's all about communication, man. Just
Yeah.
communication, constantly just talking, asking the right questions, and just being vulnerable and just sharing different experiences. I think that's what make a great relationship that could blossom to a great parenting situation.
I
Now,
think I think that vulnerable part is where a lot of people
yeah.
struggle with.
And you
You know
know
what
what's
I'm
so
saying?
funny?
Like,
I was gonna ask both, so I'm gonna ask you
yeah,
first.
like
How much does your ego play a part in the communication aspect, and even not even just communication, but how much does your ego play in decision making? Because I think as men, we
for
got
me,
ego
for me,
issues.
for me, a big part. You know what I'm saying? I can always one thing I can do now is I can look in the mirror and be like, yo, like I was saying earlier,
Yeah.
there's some things that when I think about how I think, I'm like, yo, you bugging. You
Right.
know what I'm saying? I'm like, yo, John, you bugging
And
right
he
now. Like, you know
said
what I'm
this
saying?
right before we start, like off air. He said this to
Like
me.
a lot of things, like, and a lot of times it's my ego. You know what I'm saying? Like I always think I'm right. I always feel like I know what's right. I want it my way. Like, you know, it's my way is gonna work. And then when I think to myself, like, yo, John, that's not realistic.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Or even if it is gonna work your way, the way I communicate it sometimes, nah, we're not doing that.
Right.
That's it's not no, yo, babe, can we work on such and such? Nah, we're not doing that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like,
I'm
and
guilty of that.
yeah,
I'm
like,
guilty of
and
that.
I think that's what people struggle with sometimes. You gotta look in the mirror.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Say, okay, like this is my issue and work on it. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of times we put our own issues, things that we need to work on, we put them on somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
You get what I'm saying? Sometimes you gotta look in the mirror and say, like, because my ego gets the best of me. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times, like, if things don't go and I'm like that with work. I've told my manager one time, I'm not doing that. I'm gonna do it my way. I'm that serious. Like, I'm gonna do it my way. Who wants to deal with that?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? This is why I be saying, like, with relationships, parenting, everything, like, you gotta be patient. You know what I'm saying? Because realistically speaking, I know if I ever get married, she's leaving. She's gonna be like, nah, this nigga. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, she's leaving, bro, because nobody wants to deal with that. You know what I'm saying? That's something me personally, I know I need to work on.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? Like certain things, like, man, you gotta heal.
Yeah.
You gotta heal, man. Like all of that stuff, I feel like it goes back to healing. It goes back to like knowing yourself.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? A lot of things, like me personally, I don't trust nobody. You know, as far as like in a relationship, I will question a female, and she ain't even give me nothing to question.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But I've done so much dumb shit in the past. The shit is coming back to haunt me now. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I can literally admit that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? If I call you and you
vulnerability,
don't answer,
my guy.
Yeah, like, yo, if I call you and you don't answer, ain't no man. Listen, like,
Trust,
you know like, yeah, like, and that's not realistic.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So me personally, I'm like, nah, I don't want to put nobody through that.
But
because that's not realistic.
But you know what's lit about that though? You being vulnerable enough to communicate that because at the end of the day, what you're saying is none of us come all together, right? We all got stuff to fix.
Right.
We still building, but being able to communicate to somebody, now you know exactly what you're getting into and not that representative version of everything, right? We got a comment on Instagram that says Pearly Sweetcake said on Instagram, moving based off of emotion will always cloud your judgment. And that's the truth, right? Like, so even when we talk about certain parents holding grudges, maybe certain parents feeling a certain way, concerning a relationship. I remember we had talked about last week, like a lot of co-parenting don't work out because one person still be having feelings for the other person. And when you got those feelings clouding your judgment and you moving off emotion, whether it's your ego or whether it's those feelings that you got, it definitely can mess things up. Like
fathers want to control everything.
Yeah. I mean, and to be honest,
I'm sorry, speak for yourself, my guy.
It's really an upswing. To be honest with you, I see a real big upswing on women wanting to control a lot of situations too. To be honest,
look at how society put it, right? So because the woman had the baby, that's her child. Honestly, if you want to be technical, right? The way society make men feel. So the guys that come up and be like, "Oh, I just had a baby by this girl, and I want to be in my kid life, but I can't because he's gonna get hit with child support. He's gonna get hit with this. He's gonna get hit with that. He's gonna get hit with that." Once the woman have the kid, that's her kid, honestly. And we got to work twice as hard to be in that kid life, to be considered a father, not a full-time dad, not a half-time dad, just a father. And then you got to do the extra curriculum activities to be considered a full-time dad on top of that. This is a woman's world.
All of that, that part I agree with. You know, a lot of times, like a lot of baby mothers don't know how much baby fathers walk on eggshells. You know what I'm saying? That part I agree with. Sometimes it's like, let me not say this. You know what I'm saying? She might get mad now. I can't see the kid. Now she's not answering. You know what I'm saying? Like, but what I meant was a lot of times when y'all break up, you know what I'm saying? The baby father still wants to control her. You know what I'm saying? As far as where you going.
Got it.
She doesn't have to answer you, bro.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
It's not your hot pocket no more.
Exactly. Like, that's what I meant. Like,
yeah. Let me get to some of the comments before we head out because I don't want to keep y'all too long. Shay said in our comments, if you have great communication, open and honest, no hostility, then things should be good. I agree with that one. That definitely sounds like some good steps especially the hostility part. Like a lot of situations I've heard about in the recent future. I mean, in like recently, some of y'all be real hostile, like especially around the kids. Natalie said in our comments, I agree. Children need to be privy to age appropriate information. Old school children need to stay out of grown folks' conversations in business. Never disagree in front of the children. That's a setup for failure. And we talked about that last week, arguing in front of the kids, especially if one parent is naturally more dominant than the other. Because for me personally, I believe that you're teaching the kid how to play y'all against each other and which one will win. So I know, who I need to go to, and I know who's in control. Jay said in our comments on Instagram, that's why a healthy relationship and communication is important. That's our child, not yours. That's a fact, right? Communication is key. Devon said in our comments, word. Natalie said in our comments, be careful, ego equals edge got out. That's a fact. Yeah. Natalie said in our comments, I got to read this one. It's too much for the screen. That's because you do not establish your father role before you give your seed of life away. All of this should be established before you give your seed. Plant life. Before you give your seed or plant life in a woman. No one wants a test tube baby. Value your seed. That's a fact. So before you go out here shooting the club up, 1, be married, and 2, roles should be established, right? I should know who's the head, like, you get what I'm saying, and then we should have a certain type of communication. Shay said, I don't always like my son's dad. Hold on, let me see. Shay said, I don't always like my son's dad, but he never falters in his fatherly duties. Try your best to keep emotions out of parenting your child and create a safe environment to raise them in. So this is a woman basically saying, like, I don't always like him, but he's always a dad. Like, you get what I'm saying? And that's real. And I think so many times there are a lot of women that emotions get in the way. There are a lot of men, like John said, like, yo, where you at? What you do? Like, don't let the emotions get in the way. You might not always like the person, but how are they parenting? How are they? Because that's your common denominator right now. Like, it's not about the person. If I like them right now, whatever. How are you to our child? You know what I'm saying? So,
I mean, like, firsthand, I know that I haven't always been, just in not even this current relationship, just period, like, the best boyfriend. I'm a great father. So
I'm jacking that.
I'm gonna just leave that there.
Yeah, I'm jacking that. I agree with that 110%. Like, I know for a fact.
To comment back off that comment, like, so I totally understand. I agree 100%.
Yeah, I'm with that. I have not always been the best boyfriend. I have not always been the best person to be around. But to be honest with you,
it's like when a kid comes, people forget about the relationship.
Unfortunately,
I ain't say that.
No, I'm saying in general.
Yeah,
like, a lot
right. So how do we fix that? How do we fix that mode?
I'm having
Three dives.
Let me be vulnerable. I had parts in that. I did that.
Yeah, because I'm gonna get smacked today. You're gonna get smacked today too.
Nah, I did. I'm gonna be honest. Like, I gotta be honest, because how would I be to come up here and speak to people about being vulnerable, and how, I want everybody to comment in the comments and really be real so we can help other people. If I wasn't on the forefront of, like, all right, you know what, I did that. Like, I did. Like, you know what I'm saying? Past tense. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because that was all I could see. Like, this little person that just depended on me. Like, this is my life. Like, you get what I'm saying? In all actuality, this is just an addition to my life.
And I think we don't take into consideration, like, she just had her baby, right? Her body is not the same. Now, on top of her body not being the same, you ain't paying her no mind. Imagine how she really feels.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Especially
like,
with depression and
Right. There's so many other factors that go into that, right?
We don't take a lot of things into consideration. Like, you know what I'm saying? Us as men, you know what I'm saying? Like,
so let's do that. Let's call it on today. There's a thing as postpartum awareness. Men. If you do the act and you get a girl pregnant, you have to be there for that aspect too.
Right.
Because her mental needs to be strong enough to care for your child. Even if you're not together, was a one night stand, I don't care. If you have a phone number, call her, check up on her,
Right.
be around,
Facts.
be around.
And now that we know better, the sad part is I can't even say now that we know better, because I feel like a lot of men know things like this. You know what I'm saying? A lot of men know their body's not, especially if she had a C-section, or even if she didn't have a C-section, because we all heard the rip stories. You know what I'm saying? Like how, you know what I mean, the rip on the way out and stuff. They walking all crazy. They got that catheter in them and stuff like that, and all types of crazy stuff. And then now you have this postpartum. You see this man that you love so much. Like I've heard women even say like they was jealous of the baby. Like I've heard that.
That's the thing.
Like they was jealous. Like, you know what I'm saying? And so now us as men, right? Like this is strictly for the men. We have to be there for the women, like, you know what I'm saying, for our women, even if that's not your woman, like even if that's not you have to think about it like this. Her well-being matters, because this is going to be the person that's going to care for your child. Unhappy mother, unhappy child, like, you get what I'm saying? So even, and I'm just saying that in the case that you and the mother not rocking, like, you get what I'm saying? Even if y'all not cool, you still have to look at it from that aspect. Like, she's unhappy, he's unhappy, she's gonna. And the same thing with you. This is why you got to be good within you and continue to grow, like John said, and like Dave said, you got to continue to grow within you and be happy, because kids can feel that. Like, I remember when I was a kid, I'm not dumb. Like, I'm sitting looking at stuff, not saying nothing, because I was taught not to be in stuff that I was.
Kids be saying everything. They be seeing everything,
bro.
Man.
I see everything. I seen some things I wasn't supposed to see. Like, you get what I'm saying? Like, I see everything, like, you know what I'm saying?
A lot of times they tell us, excuse me, they tell us, we just don't listen. You know what I'm saying? Like, there was a lot of times when in the past where I have a 10-year-old and a 7-year-old. Like, John's mother, she would be like, let's watch a movie, and I'm like, all right, bring John, and she like, no, just us. You know what I'm saying? My attitude was, just bring John. Like, what, like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
And you know what I'm saying? As you look later, you're like, damn, like all she was trying to do was get, how long is the movie? An hour and a half?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, but you notice, you know what I'm saying? Like, and this is what I'm saying, like, be patient.
For real.
When you have these kids, man, like, be,
for real.
Because you don't think about these things. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
you just like, I'm ready to see my son. I'm ready to see my daughter. I'm ready to see my son. Like, the last thing that crosses your mind is, I'm gonna really have to be there for her now. You know what I'm saying? Because, and not financially, but just her body is not the same. She just went through a whole
mind not the same.
Like, and women, I man, listen. Some of the things I see females do, like if they sick, they get up, they take the child to school, they go to work, they come back, clean it up. A man is sick, it's like,
I can't move.
You know what I'm saying? Females just like. The amount of strength that a female has, that shit is crazy. The shit we put them through, you know what I'm saying? Some of the things, like, I've had females like, stop playing with me like that, John, because if I play with you like that, it's not going to be cool. And I'm like, you're right, it's not going to be but what makes it okay for me to, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, come on, like, right. A lot of times, you know what I'm saying? Like, not to get off topic, but we put them.
That's a fact.
We put them through a lot, man. Like, because men, even like in relationships, like, we want everything that's walking for some reason. You know what I'm saying? Like, we just like, damn, she's fire. So what?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, there's so much fire people out there.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, but we put them.
Nah, these new breed of IG women is the same way.
You know what I'm saying?
The new breed.
Yo,
I mean, it's just a thing that people go through, but we just want everybody to just go out there and be responsible. Knowing what things could lead to, just be responsible. And if it leads to that, just be there to take care of that. That's what we're here talking about tonight, honestly.
Yeah. Right. Because you created something that's bigger than you now. And Jay said in our comments on Instagram, I think this would be lit, right? Jay said, is it possible to have a round table for the fellas, especially as responsible black men? I think that'd be lit. Now, Jay, I need to know, do you want to live stream this? Like, you get what I'm saying? Like, do you want to live stream this like this? Or do you just want to have just a round table discussion? I'm down for both. You get what I'm saying? But we
got to reach the masses. Every time we come together, we got to reach the masses because somebody's watching. We're going to change somebody's life tonight.
You get what I'm saying? But I think that that's a lit idea because not for nothing, even when I'm doing a podcast, right? And let's say I can have 20 people on, 30 people on, or whatever, 100, 200, 300 people or watch it. Majority of the comments that I see are women. And it makes me realize that a lot of men are not open to certain discussions.
Our pride, bro.
Yeah, like
Right.
certain discussions we don't be wanting to talk about. Like
You know why? You want to know why? The V word, vulnerability. That's what we did all tonight. We always vulnerable.
That's a fact. That's a fact. I'm with you on that one. All right, so look, I want to do that. I know I'm down. I know you down. Jay, I know you down.
Drive anyway.
Right. Look, Jay, I know you down. I want to challenge all of us to at least invite 2 guys. So yourself and 2 other guys. Right. And if you in the comments or you watching this at a later date and you watch all the way to the end, 2 guys, right? Because these are conversations that as men we need to have, and we need to have them with men. Like, you get what I'm saying, and understand that you're not alone. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
Because it took for me at a certain aspect in my life to meet John and have certain conversations that maybe I wasn't having with other friends and be like, yo, oh, that's great. Like, I'm not the only person going through that. Like, you get what I'm saying? I'm not the only person having those type of issues. Like, you get what I'm saying? Or,
right.
You know, even with me and Dave, like, we'll have certain conversations. It's like, oh, wait, I'm not the only person going through that. And now that thing that I've been holding in for so long, struggling with thinking I'm the only person, and men feeling like in society, we have to hold it down because any form of vulnerability looks like weakness, right? Or maybe that's our ego combined with society. You know what I'm saying? Both of those. So now we feel like that it creates a recipe for disaster, and now we become ticking time bombs because we holding so much in. So Jay, I'm with that 110%. Like, I really want to make sure that we do that. And Shay got another good one here. She said you need to have a face-off with men and women and get both sides at the same time. I'm with that. I'm with that.
Shay sound
Instead
like
of a round table, a square table, opposites on both sides. What we doing?
Listen, to be honest with you, I'm cool with everything. So look, this is what I'm gonna say. Everybody, the date is to be announced, right? So next week, Tuesday, I'm gonna have a date for that round table, right? I'm gonna have a date for that round table.
Well,
next week, too. Listen, I'm gonna have all the details, right? I'm gonna have all the details for the round table. I don't have none right now. I'm telling you, this is not something that was planned. It just happened. But by next week, I'm gonna have all of that, right? Next week, I'm gonna have a time, a date, a place. And that way you'll know like when you need to get your peoples by, your 2 people that you need to bring. And even if we're gonna do it with men and women, right? Like, we might do both, right? But however we're gonna do it, I'm gonna discuss the details or whatever with the team, and we're gonna put that together, and we're gonna have that. Like, I'm with that 110%. Like, I just think it's something that we need. And to be honest, I think it'll be better for the people that are watching because it's so much more opinions. There's so much more information that'll be able to be given out. Natalie said, don't leave out the OGs over 60. Some of us is still stuck in their 20s.
Hey,
so be sure to bring an OG. So I don't want to hold y'all too long. It always get real deep, like right at the end, and then we just like be talking about something crazy. But yeah, I'll definitely send that out to y'all. Whatever, next week we'll talk about that. I'll have all that info for y'all. Just make sure that y'all like our Facebook page, so that way y'all can get the notifications when we go live. A lot of people always tell me like, when did you go live? When did you go live? And now that I'm going live on Instagram, it's hard to send the link directly to people because I'm using my phone. So make sure you like the page or whatever, follow the page so you get the notifications. Subscribe on YouTube. Everybody has a YouTube, just in case you decide to deactivate your Facebook, because sometimes we be needing that detox or whatever. So make sure you subscribe on YouTube. And last but not least, a better me equals a better we apparel.com, right? So we have apparel, right? A better me equals a better we, t-shirts, hoodies. We have Black History Month hoodies right now and sweaters. Jay has got his. If you guys seen E in our comments, E's got his, Dave's got his, John's got his. Y'all know I got mine, right? So, I don't know what y'all.
You'll get a shirt. You get a shirt. You get a shirt.
I don't know what y'all waiting for, right? But a better me, a better we, apparel.com. Go and get yours today. You know, inspire, be inspired, and feel comfortable, right? And inspire somebody else. All right. So that wraps up co-parenting part 2. Thank you guys so much that's watched it all the way through, and everybody that's going to listen at a later date. And last but not least,
Hold on. Be patient.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Get to know yourself and heal.
Oh yeah.
Heal. Like, not people think, oh, you need to heal because somebody broke your heart. No. Sometimes your mentality is just very, you know what I'm saying? Like, you have to heal. Gotta be patient. Get to know who you with.
Yo, yes. Yes.
Get to know who you with.
Go ahead, Dave. What you got for us before we head out?
Listen, I had a great time. I always feel good. Over here is home for me. Like, it's a great time, man. I'm just happy to be here. Everybody that tuned in, everybody that took the time to comment, it was a blessing. I appreciate you guys. We love to see it. Tune in next week. It's more to come.
That's a fact. And last but not least, do not forget that a better me equals a better we.
Better
I'll see you
we.
guys next week at 8 p.m. Y'all have a good night.